Hey everyone, this is Fabio and welcome back. Today we're making a game discussion video now that I'm back from a small weekend holiday with my family, but I take advantage of this free time to play my Vita since I brought it with me and managed to beat a game that I thought I was done with it before, but then I realized it was much longer than I expected. The game is The Walking Dead, the Telltale game, Season 1. On the Vita, of course, as you can see. I heard about this game since it was released on the PS3 and I think on the 360 as well, and a couple of years ago. But I think that this is the perfect way to play it on the go and on the Vita, because it's not a game that it requires all the muscle powers of the main consoles. But let's go with order. Of course, I'm a big fan of The Walking Dead, the TV series, not the comic books, because I don't like the art of that. I mean, it's just me. Personally, it's not of my taste, and I also know that the comic it's quite different from the series. I mean, there are certain characters who are still alive in the comics are long gone in TV shows, and that's good. I like that they trying to make it a bit different, but. The thing is, I'm very far behind with the TV series as well, because when the Walking Dead is released in the UK, every time there's a new season, the prices are outrageous. So I'm still waiting for the prices of season 3 to go down. So I just watched the first 2 seasons. I think elsewhere it's like season 4 or 5. I don't even know. Sometimes. Sooner than later, I hope I will be able to see season 3, because I really want to continue the story of Rick and the others. And with that state of mind, I was really interested in the Telltale games of the Walking Dead series, because I think that it's the best way to make a Walking Dead game, rather than the other Walking Dead game, which I don't remember the title, but it's on different consoles, including the Wii, strange enough, and it's mainly an action game where you're playing as Daryl, I suppose, since you're using a crossbow and going around shooting zombies. I mean, nothing special. You got Resident Evil or other games like that for killing zombies. To me, The Walking Dead should be something else, and that is what I was expecting from the Telltale games. Of course, I cannot go too much into details with the story, because that's the main reason to play the game. It's an extremely personal, I think, experience, but everything that I can say might be a spoiler since the beginning, basically, because you start to take decisions right on, I mean, in the first minute of the game, basically, and it might affect the entire story, so... And at the same time, it also gives the game a lot of replayability. I mean, I will definitely try again to play it, but by taking different choices in certain key moments, I think. Because overall, when I finished, and I was pretty glad with my choices, and overall, because I will go into details a little bit later with the gameplay, but let's just say it's such a personal game, it's such a personal experience that it's definitely going to be different from one person to the other. But let's just say that the story of the game focuses around a guy named Lee, who at the moment that the zombie apocalypse begins, he encounters this little girl called Clementine. They decided to stick together in order to survive, and progressively they're meeting with other survivors. Like, for example, there's Kenny, and with his family, Krista, Omid, and all the others. And the interaction between these characters, of course, it's fundamental for the development of the story. And by the end of the game, many things happen, of course, and all these things that happen are mainly consequences of their actions. So it's Of course, the gameplay it's focused around, as the title suggests, a Telltale game. It's focused on your choices. So the story, um, it's very emotional. I think it's very powerful. But that was exactly what I was expecting from a Walking Dead series, and that is what I wanted from a Walking Dead, a Walking Dead game, because like especially season one did, it was kind of focused on a short period of time because the game is not very long. Although I think at first when I played it for the first time, when I started it, I thought that the game was over at the end of episode one. After all, I saw like end credits and previous on the and then like next on Walking Dead, and oh, that must be the next game. So I thought it was I was done with the game after like 2 hours or something like that. But then the game goes on. That was funny. I said, oh, well, this was short. But even though it was only that episode, I was already very intrigued by the game. I mean, episode one alone was already full of powerful moments. Just for example, the woman in the motel or Lee's brother. I'm just saying this. Those were really intense. I was like, man, this story is really well written, and it goes on like for all 5 episodes. And now that I'm done with it, I cannot wait to play the 400 Days Extra, which is a special episode. And I will not play immediately because I just finished the game today. I will do something else, probably finish Gravity Rush, and then move to continue some Walking Dead, and then I will buy season 2. What is the main feature of the game other than the story? It's of course the gameplay. This game focuses basically almost entirely on your choices. Every second or every minute, every 2 minutes, basically you have to take a decision that might influence the story on its entirety. For example, how do you respond to a certain character? They will remember your answer, or the fact that you panic, the fact that you choose one or the other, all these kind of things. And sometimes you're really these choices might be really tense, really heavy in a way. I mean, who you have to decide sometimes who gets to live and who gets to die, and that's heavy stuff. But as I said before, that's exactly what I wanted from a Walking Dead movie, and that's why I like, especially season 1 of the show, because season 2 is great, but it's a bit slower. It focused on the drama of these characters, not exclusively on killing zombies. It's more about they survive. Now they're going to live in this world full with zombies. And the main problem, rather than the zombies, sometimes might be other survivors. We saw it in the TV shows. I saw it in the game. For example, crazy people, or really hostile survivors that they don't want to help you. It's all about yourself. But in a way, you also understand, because in a situation like that, that will be difficult to maintain your sanity. I mean, it's great stuff. I love these kind of things. And it's much deeper than a normal zombie flick, for example, a movie like Dawn of the Dead, for example. Even though I love it, it's certainly not very deep, since it's just about killing the zombie in the goriest way possible. And speaking of zombie, that is also why I love this series so much. It's because it kind of, I think, going back to the more traditional kind of zombies, because recently, and I think because of movies like, was it 20 Days After or something like that, I Am Legend, this kind of movie, that Zombieland, all these movies that portray zombies differently from the classic ones. They're all really fast, running around. It's okay in a way, I don't mind it, but overall I prefer the more traditionalist approach, like a George Romero movies, like Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, these kind of things with really slow and stupid zombies. I love that, but that even though they're slow and dumb, they always found their way in. It's terrifying in a way, even though, as I said, it's easy to escape from them. But you're never going to win at the end. That's the terrifying thing of it, I think. So, as I was saying, story and gameplay. This is, of course, the reason why to play the game, because I didn't expect the game to be this heavy on decision, and certainly almost without action. There are action sequences, of course, but they're very limited, and they are strictly connected with the story and your decisions. For example, an action sequence might be you need to take a gun and shoot the zombie, but it's not like, I don't know, a Resident Evil game that the character get up, you need to walk away and grab the gun or something. You just have to point towards the gun, press a button, and the action will take place. Because, as I said, it's more about telling the story than the action. Because by telling the story, the game allows you to create and customize Lee's character, which is your character, so it's very well done. I was really surprised with it, because I kind of knew about, as I said, I kind of knew about this game, but at the same time, it surprised me how deep this mechanism was, and how well done. It was very well done. So, absolutely, I cannot wait to play more of these kind of games, like 400 Days, Season 2, naturally, because the way Season 1 ended, oh my god, I really want to play Season 2 to see how the story continues. Because the ending of the game was really, really powerful. I mean, no wonder to me that I thought that this game is much better than the TV series. I mean, damn, it was good. And I cannot wait to play the other games. Absolutely, absolutely. And also, for what I heard and for what I know, the same team who made the Walking Dead games is also behind The Wolf Among Us, which is still a Telltale game. If that's so, I cannot wait to play that. I just haven't read about much information about that. And also, speaking about the choices of the game, it's really interesting, something that I read this morning on Kotaku. It's about asking if the choices that we made during the game really matter. It's because at the end there are certain key moments that really shape the story, and in a way it almost feels that you cannot do anything about it. For example, a certain character dies or something else happened. I mean, can we really do something about it, or we are going through that because of our choices? And in a way, I think that's how our choices actually matter. Because if they don't, I mean, what's the point of playing? If it's because in a way the story's already written, but I think there's just the beginning and the end that is already decided, and the rest it's written through your actions. So they're kind of deviate slightly the story. Maybe you can be more of an asshole with certain characters. You can be more honest. I mean, it just depends on you at the end. And for example, personally, certain decision or certain dialogues, I wasn't really comfortable about it. For example, I kind of maintain a certain honesty with the other characters. I wasn't too much aggressive. I mean, because in my mind, it was always thinking, if I was that guy, was Lee, I was trying to get along with my group. I don't want to split them or just for fighting constantly. Another thing we can mention, it's the music, which it's really interesting because I think it accompanies the game very well, even when there's no music at all. I mean, I will not buy the soundtrack of this game because sometimes there's no music. You don't need music all the time. But when the music is there, it's okay. I mean, it's not a game that you play for the soundtrack, of course. It's not like a Falcom game, East game that you're almost more excited for the soundtrack rather than the game. Almost. But the thing that I was expecting that wasn't there was that at the end of each episode, I always expect the theme of the TV series, and it wasn't there. With oh damn it, but it's okay. It was just a detail, like that wouldn't be a niche ad, I think, but it's really not important because the music it's not prominent in this game. It's not very important when it's needed, and it's mainly here and there or for backgrounds. But for the most time, there's no music for the most part, so it's okay actually. Even though I love video game music, this is a game that goes very well without it because I don't know. For example, I still remember the motel in episode 1. There's no music there because you have to look around, be careful for the zombies, and do certain things. Who needs music and something like that? Technically, I don't know what to say. It looks very good in a sort of comic way. This comic look of the game, it's very pretty to look at it. Of course, it's not a game you play for the graphics, and there you go with the siren. But it was really good to look at it. The characters were well animated and everything. But overall, it's obvious that the main reason to play this game naturally are the story and the character development and the interaction between these characters. So naturally, this game gets a huge recommendation, especially if you like stories, powerful stories in a game. This is a must. I mean, this is probably one of the best and most powerful stories that I experienced recently in a game, because it was kind of like shaped through my decisions, but certain moments were really intense. I was like, whoa. It felt good that a game was able to make me feel that way. Kind of shocked me, but as I say, in a good way. I mean, really, like, this is really good writing. This is good stuff. I didn't expect to be this good. And also, it's really cool the fact that this is the first game they actually managed to get a platinum trophy. It's just a detail. It's not important because I don't care about trophies in games. Because getting trophies means that you need to replay the game over and over again, and sometimes I really don't want to, because I have so many games that I need to play that I don't have time for that. But with Walking Dead, it's extremely easy to get a platinum, but I was still really proud of myself. Basically, you just need to finish the game, you get all the trophies. There's no need to replay the game for the trophies. I want to replay this game, of course, but just to try different decisions and different choices, not for the trophies. I would have done it anyways, even though I didn't get a platinum. But it was fun. I was like, oh, there you go, I got the platinum trophy. That was cool. So guys, overall, I think this is a must play for Vita owners especially, because as I said before, there you go, let me conclude with that. As I said before, this game is available as well on PS3 and 360, but I think it's not necessary to get this on those consoles. Maybe, I'm not sure about that, but maybe it's more cheap that way, because we know that the Vita overall is expensive. Maybe the game on PS3 is more cheap, but I'm not sure, because usually like popular games, good games are expensive anyways. Some more than others, but I didn't spend much for this. I think it cost me between 12 and 15 pounds, which is good. It's a good price for a Vita game. But especially because you don't need a PS3 to play a game like this. You can play on the Vita. It works fine, perfectly. It looks great, and especially it's a game that it's better on the go. Of course, you can play whenever you want. For example, I usually played at night before going to sleep. I played half of an entire episode. The first night, for example, I couldn't stop until I finished episode 1. That, like, I started, I think, at 11:30 or at almost midnight, and I stopped playing at 10 to 10 past 3, something. I played like 3 hours. I was really tired, but I couldn't put the thing down. It was so engaging, so addictive because of this choice mechanism, the storytelling, the character interactions. I mean, it was fantastic, and I couldn't put my Vita down until I finished the episode with Lily saying everything's going to be all right now, and then boom, blackout. I mean, I was like, oh, this is fantastic. And that was the moment I think, oh well, I finished the game. But again, it works fantastic on the Vita, and having it on the go, it's certainly a huge advantage over the PS3 and 360 version, because the only thing that those versions have over the Vita, it's a better graphics, but who cares for this game? It certainly doesn't need good graphics or something like that. It's more about the story and the choices, so you don't need a very powerful machine for that. It's, as I said, so it's perfect on the Vita. I think that for Vita collection, the Walking Dead games are a must, and much better on the Vita rather than on bigger consoles. So I think that's it. I don't know if anything else I can say about Walking Dead. Just that I cannot wait to play 400 Days and Season 2 now. And I haven't followed much because I don't, for the most part, I don't have time, or I forgot to look on in video game news in general. I don't know if Season 3 it's on the work by Telltale, because if it is, it's fantastic. I mean, the story continues, because I really, Season 2 will be soon on a pickup video, because I like this game so much. I mean, it's cool. This is the second PS Vita game that I finished after Celceta, because I was playing Gravity Rush, but then I tried this game and I couldn't put it down. So now I can go on and try to finish Gravity Rush before playing 400 Days. I was just trying to change a bit from not playing exclusively the Telltale games, so I can try to change genres here and there. So that's it, guys. Walking Dead Telltale game Season 1, huge recommendation, especially if you like story and characters, because if you like action or something like that, there's basically nothing about it in this. It's mainly about telling the story through your actions and interaction with other characters. And it's fantastic if you like that. If you don't, try it anyways. I don't know if this game qualifies as a visual novel, probably because it's almost entirely dialogues, so maybe. And so if you like this kind of genre, but even if you're just curious about it, because it's very different from most of the games. So a must for the Vita, especially. If you don't, there is on PS3 and 360, so it's largely available. And that's it. Excellent game. There's anything else I can add, I think. So thank you very much for watching, like always, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care.